Good afternoon. Today we're here with Vijay Talwar, Senior VP, Interim CFO of Blue Nile Diamonds. Good afternoon. It's nice to have you.
Good afternoon.
I'm Austin Wilson, a freshman international business and finance student here at UF. I represent the Students in Free Enterprise program, SIFE. It's good to have you. You work for Blue Nile Diamonds. Briefly, what is Blue Nile?
So Blue Nile is a company that sells diamonds online, and we're basically the largest seller of these kind of diamonds, precious stones, and jewelry online anywhere in the world. And we don't have any physical stores, so the only way to get to Blue Nile is to go to bluenile.com and look up the products we're buying. And what we do is we basically give a guarantee with our products in the sense that it comes with a certification, so you know exactly what you're going to get. And also we have a 30-day return policy, so if you don't like what you see, you can always send it back to us. So,
you're Senior VP, International, and currently the Interim CFO. What is your role at Blue Nile?
So I joined Blue Nile in August of 2010, and really with the intention of growing the international business. Also what happened, there was some transition in the CFO role, so they just asked me to step in as a CFO for the last few months, and I've been helping out a little bit, kind of performing the CFO duties, but my passion and my role at Blue Nile is really about opening up new markets for Blue Nile and really growing that business so we can grow it sort of 2- and 3-fold from what it is today.
Good, good. Briefly, what was your career path to get to where you are today?
My career path was actually fairly straightforward. I started here in Findlay, Ohio, got my undergraduate degree in accounting, and after getting an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in accounting, I went to work in public accounting and worked in public accounting for a while. So I kind of had a 4 or 5 year long career in doing accounting, auditing, finance, and then went back to business school at University of Chicago and got my MBA in strategy and marketing. And with that degree, I was able to go and join a company to do strategy consulting, helping big corporations determine what their strategy should be, long-range planning. And with that experience, I then moved to Nike. And I worked at Nike for about 6.5 years, both in the Portland headquarters as well as in Amsterdam, trying to help them run the Central Europe, Middle East, and Africa division. And after I did that, I actually left Nike and moved to India for a couple of years to run the Clinton Foundation in India, and did a lot of work around the health initiatives in India while I was there. And also then recently joined Blue Nile.
Good, good. You're an alumni here at Findlay. How did UF prepare you for the modern global business world?
I always treat Findlay as my home in the US. This is where I first came when I came from India. I was really young, didn't really know how to assimilate into this culture. I met a lot of really friendly people here, people who invited me to their homes. I remember spending Thanksgiving in homes here in Findlay. I also met a lot of people from all over the world. My first roommate was from Japan. My next roommate was actually from Morocco. I had a lot of opportunities to have friends from all over the world at Findlay, and so in a lot of ways, even this role that I'm doing with International, I started the planning for it or the preparation for it when I started here at Findlay.
What changes have you seen in the college business since the time you were here till today?
Well, a lot of exciting changes. I mean, obviously it's grown in size. It's added a master's program, which was not here when I was here. But more than anything else, what I was really excited about this morning, they launched an MBA track with a CPA and CMA MBA track. And I have both my CPA and my CMA. And I think if I had had that opportunity when I was here, it would have saved me a lot of time and effort studying for those exams. So it's definitely a fantastic opportunity for people, because how do I get my 5th year of education to sit for the CPA exam, but also get a CPA prep course content work included in that material. So,
right. Your theme for your lecture here was don't let your major necessarily determine your career. Explain what you mean by that and how your career path has led to this conclusion.
Yeah, and it's not so much about my career path necessarily. It's just typically when you look at people, they graduate in a liberal arts background or a business background or a pharmacy background or whatever it might be. But if you fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, they may or may not be doing things pertaining to their major. And so I think the example that I like to use is I've gone all the way from working for a big brand like Nike to the other extreme, where I was working for a not-for-profit organization dealing with healthcare related issues, and then now you fast forward again, and then I'm working for an online jeweler. And so if you think about it, there's just a lot of different the different businesses, to some, in the for-profit sector as well as the not-for-profit sector, and you continuously learn and evolve, and you learn on the job. So you're not necessarily restricted to your major. And I think the biggest thing I would say is that my major was accounting, and I did accounting for a while, but then I also moved on and did other things. And now with the interim CFO role, I've kind of gotten back into the finance and accounting side of things.
Right. Often students believe they need to be experts in a major, or major in a field in order to even consider working in it. Your career has taken you to more topics than just accounting. What would you say is the minimum one should know about a field to pursue career opportunities in it?
I think it's important to know and understand the field, right? I think it's important to actually develop the ability to become an expert. But I also think there's some value to being a generalist. So they both sort of go hand in hand. And there's some pieces of, like accounting can be extremely technical at certain levels. And so you need to understand the rules and regulations and everything else in order to do it. On the other hand, as the CFO of an organization, you're also responsible for the future strategy of the company, the roadmap of the company, and how you're going to invest the capital. And those type of decisions require you to take a step back and be able to look at the overall game plan and figure out where you're going to make the big investment. So you need to kind of go back and forth between kind of being this sort of specialized functional expert to being sort of a person who you would consider a manager of managers, who's kind of a strategic thinker, and all that sort of evolves and comes together over time.
Good. I mentioned I'm in the SIFE program, the Students in Free Enterprise here. This year it's just a small group of students with little experience, but we're putting together next year's competition projects and trying to recruit more students. You were in SIFE when you were here.
Yes.
What opportunities were created by SIFE for your professional life?
Some amazing opportunities actually. So first of all, I was part of Students in Free Enterprise for 2 full years. And the first year I was a junior, and we won the regional competition and moved on to the national levels. But unfortunately, we didn't finish in the top 10. And the second year, we were really on a mission to make sure we make it into the top 10. And what we did was we actually not only won the regional competition again, made it to the nationals, also made it to the last day of the nationals where the top 10 teams presented. Unfortunately, we didn't come in first, but I can't remember exactly now, but I believe we came in either second or third in our competition, which was quite an achievement for, especially considering we were competing against some schools with much larger resources and much, many more students compared to Findlay, Ohio, right? So one of the things about University of Findlay is we performed really well at that stage. But there were many memories from that, whether it was the regional competition or the national competition, that I cherish. One of them, just to give you an example, was I actually got a chance to listen to Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, who was a big supporter of Students in Free Enterprise. I got a chance to hear him speak. And that's something that will stay with me for the rest of my life. So.
Did you make any useful contacts or experience other than the competition side of the SIFE program?
Absolutely. I mean, we traveled internationally. So, for example, we went to Russia one year, and in Russia we traveled. Again, we met a lot of folks in Moscow, but specifically in Kiev. And I should say we went to USSR that year, not because at that time it was still pre-Russia days. And in Kiev, which is the capital of Ukraine now. We went to a university and met with students, and we had a simulation game to teach them how the free enterprise system works. We actually had that simulation game translated into Russian, and so that really helped as well. In addition to that, we had an advisory board here locally, and for the advisory board, folks would come down, tell us what to do, help us out, and so we built a lot of connections and networks just through Students in Free Enterprise. So I highly recommend it to people. It's a great way to kind of spend some free time learning about how free markets operate, but also then building your portfolio of networks.
What do you see as some good fields currently today to get into when looking for a job once you get out of college in the business world?
Good fields. I mean, I think again, I just having spent 2 years in a not-for-profit organization, I think healthcare in general is going to be big, whether it's in the for-profit side or the not-for-profit side. There's always, as people get older, it's going to have lots and lots of opportunities. So health-related issues are always going to be big. I think online and the .com companies, it's the future of so whether you think about people who are selling on retailing on TV, retailing through a catalog, retailing online, companies like Blue Nile, companies like Amazon, I believe are going to continue to grow, and more of us are going to spend more time shopping online rather than shopping on high street or in malls, for example. And so I think those are opportunities to grow.
Looking a bit further into the future, say 10, 15, 20 years, what do you see the future of business and new opportunities coming?
I see the future of business heavily shifting geographically, from the base being from Europe and from US heavily towards Asia, and whether that is China, or whether that is India, whether that is other parts of Asia, possibly even including countries like Brazil and Russia and Turkey. So I think the epicenter of business, the growth opportunities, a lot of that will actually start to shift. It'll still be many American brands, many global brands, I should say, involved in that growth. But I think the growth will actually come from a lot of these emerging markets as opposed to the established markets in my mind. But time will tell.
Right. Do you have any closing comments on any of these topics or anything to add business-wise?
Yeah, I mean, the main message I had today for the students was, your life is not necessarily going to be directly correlated to your major, but B, the most important thing is to really be adaptable. And so adaptability is something that you have to aggressively work on and make sure that you kind of, maintain the right sort of attitude, and you continuously improve your skills so that you can actually adapt to the given situation. So I think that would be my, sort of parting message, would be really focusing in on how you can become more adaptable as an individual or as a company, or as a, if you're an entrepreneur in your business.
All right, well, it's good having you today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me here.